And then I found out Bullivant Hauser Bailey, that law firm, was somehow connected. So I thought, what? This is bizarre. I call the department, this organization, I give information about where she is. Then someone from a Catholic church over there goes out and looks for her in an area like that. I thought, well, who would tell the person in the Catholic church that I said this? Like, how do people know my business? And so it was some kind of a weird thing between their law firm, Bullivant Hauser Bailey, and I don't know how they're getting information, and the Catholic Church. And then, you know, it was like a day after I had called, they went out and looked for her in that area, or, you know, later in that day, something like that. And there is a record of it. I mean, they keep records of their calls and everything, but nobody wanted to give me the $10,000. And I wasn't, you know, somebody who was just calling up because I just wanted reward money, but it really would have helped me and my son at that time. And we were the ones who deserved that money. And instead, someone from a Catholic church went out and tried to say that they were the ones who found her. So that's what the police told me. And I remember around that time, I thought that's another thing that came to mind is, you know, the mystery of why in the world were they involved in my life in something like that? I kind of felt like I was like, is my phone bugged? Is someone from that missing person center calling somebody? Did someone know somebody already? I just didn't know how a Catholic church person, how they were getting information about me and then passing it off as, you know, somebody else. Just and obviously if they were following up what I was saying, they believed me. They knew that I wasn't a liar, and they trusted my instincts for some reason and checked on it. And after that, though, after that happened, I had the FBI, I had some individuals in the FBI, the Department of Justice, trying to claim that there was something wrong with me because if I had had this impression of that woman, they were trying to make it sound like I was paranoid schizophrenic again. And I wasn't paranoid schizophrenic. I had seen a woman who was missing. I saw exactly where she was, and someone went out and they found her in the same place that I said she was. It was very specific. There are not a lot of places you could look. It was a specific area. And then I later called the police station over there in New York or wherever it was. And I called because I kind of couldn't believe it. I wanted to know for sure. Did everything match up with what I thought I'd seen? And it did. So that, right around that time, I was then being tortured even worse, and my son was being tortured even worse. And from the time that I made that call about the missing woman, it was probably 1 month later that my son and I were trying to get political asylum in Canada. So I wanted to bring up those two things because I was being portrayed as paranoid schizophrenic just to cover up for things. And at the time when it came up again, I thought, what, someone's trying to cover up? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I basically feel like my intellectual property and things that conclusions I come to and things that I have, not all the time, but some of the ideas that I have and things that I should get credit for, the credit's been going to other people. And I think that's part of the reason they have enjoyed doing this to me, is that they can steal from me and take whatever they want and try to pass it off as their own idea. You know, top secret intellectual property. And, you know, then they just torture the living daylights out of me to keep anybody from believing me. And from, you know, showing that I can do some of these things on my own. Because then it would look like, yeah, they are using me. So, I wanted to fill in those small spots and for right now. And then I'll probably continue to talk about other things from this point forward, but I wanted to make note of that information. So thanks for your time, and I'm really would like to know who can bring an end to what's been being done to me and my son and family, because I don't feel that I should be chased out of my own country. I feel that my writ to habeas corpus should have been honored. And obviously the University of Utah is covering things up now. They're not even giving me the records. If they had nothing to hide, they would be providing those records to me. So I mean, I don't know what kind of a lawyer or law firm would possibly be interested in such a case, and if there is one, probably they'd have to have a lot of money to start out with. I mean, I think they would make a ton of money. I think they'd have a huge lawsuit that would really pay off well. But because of the amount of work it would take to get some of the research, or I mean some of the documentation, and the kind of stalling and everything, it'd probably have to be a larger firm that would be interested in doing something like that. And I don't know that many firms that go against the federal government, people who colluded to torture their own citizens. I mean, you know, what lawyer wants to help somebody that's being tortured by the government when they know that the government could suddenly, if they want to, torture them? I mean, is that what the government has done maybe to one or two individuals who've tried to help me? And then those individuals recognize there's something weird going on, and if I say anything about what's happening to me, I'm going to sound crazy. So instead, they just quietly keep a distance.